Hey, hey, welcome in, everybody. Week 9 edition, Sons of UCF pregame show. You may notice something a little bit different today. UCF Mike is off on special assignment to parts unknown. And so it'll just be myself and Trace taking you up to the kickoff UCF versus the Cows in Tampa. Obviously a rivalry game, as Heupel calls it, a trophy game. So we will get you up and ready for that. We have a couple of great guests popping by, a voice you may remember, a player you may remember, and somebody who hopefully will have some interesting perspective on what's happening with UCF and the college football landscape at large. But let me welcome in, as always, from the great Rocky Mountain area this week, the bi-coastal Mr. Trace Trelko is with us again. Trace, welcome back, buddy. How was your Thanksgiving?
Good Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving weekend to you and all of Night Nation. Especially thankful this year to have been a part of the UCF pregame show. And my mission to bump Mike out of his chair is proven successful when he ran off last week at the end of the show and seemingly turned. So I entrenched my spot as one of the sons of UCF.
I haven't seen him since then. He may still be in the bathroom. He had quite a treasure trove of green bottles with him. I don't know what was in those. He actually may still be in the restroom, but he might pop in at some point. He's on parts unknown today, doing some family stuff. So hopefully he gets a chance to pop in. And if he does, Trace will be joining us to talk about a big one. Obviously, the Cows rivalry game, always a fun one. But before we look forward, let's look back. Cincinnati UCF, probably not as close as the score would indicate. 36-33 Cincinnati comes out on top, and they subsequently end up number 7 in the college football rankings, eclipsing UCF by 1 as the highest ever Group of 5 ranked team. Trace, your thoughts on the game last Saturday and UCF coming up just a bit short once again to the Bearcats?
Just a bit short seems to be the theme in 2020. Some missed opportunities for UCF, another one within their reach. I talked myself out of predicting Cincinnati to win because I hate to go against UCF and projections, but Cincinnati did what I thought they would do. I don't think we saw anything from them that we weren't expecting, and they have confidence as a team down early 14-3, and that's where you would have liked to see UCF go up 21-3, and just some missed opportunities. And you look around and a lot of what ifs. I think the better team won on Saturday. Only the Cows, who UCF's playing today, will I never root to win anything at all. But now, with UCF not able to win the conference championship or be in a New Year's Six bowl, I root for Cincinnati or the winner of Cincinnati-Tulsa. Who knows? Tulsa may yet climb its way back into this. All AAC down the stretch now. And, tough loss, another close one, and that's been the feeling the last 2 years. I know I said to you it was a high-stakes game for me with Coach Heupel, not rising to the level where I felt like he needs to be terminated. Certainly has 79% winning percentage. That's probably not the right way to go about it. But I think he lost yet another close game, and that's a theme that we'll be looking at as we go into 2021.
Yeah, I think, the termination part of his job, I think, obviously, is probably a little far-fetched. But I don't think it's far-fetched to say that maybe we see shakeups on the staff. Maybe we see some things internally, right? I think Cossack Advisor, when he was on with us last week, you made the point that he always kind of calms you down. And he kind of brought it back to a real-world scenario. If you're an employer and you're an employee and you make a mistake at your job, depending on what it is, you typically don't get fired, right? You get coaching, you get some sort of a reprimand. And so maybe that's the phase we're in. But we got all off season to debate what happens with that. But today brings the Cows, Trace, and there's really one thing, well, maybe two things, but one main thing on everybody's mind today, and that is the playing status of one Mackenzie Milton. For those who may not be aware, obviously 2 years ago in 2018 on that very field in Tampa, Mackenzie suffered a pretty horrific knee injury, has been rehabbing like hell behind the scenes to get back. Dylan Gabriel this week, coyly or uncoyly, I don't know if uncoyly is a word, hinted, even got to the line of saying perhaps we might see something of a quote-unquote surprise today. So, Trace, let's just start here, first big picture. What do you think it means just overall that Mackenzie is in conversations to step back on the field today?
Well, I was in Tampa on Black Friday 2 years ago in what, for me, and no doubt Knights fans across the country, darkest day as a Knight fan. We knew we had witnessed something horrific. Silence fell over the press box, silence in the stadium. Not knowing the extent of the injury, of course, we know Mackenzie's story the last 2 seasons. To see him even in a position at this point, as we saw in the ESPN feature on game day, the Andrea Adelson piece on ESPN.com, to see how he has battled back, running the scout team, no matter what might happen with him coming in, seeing a play, a kneel down, not at all. His story has been very inspiring. Very uplifting. You know, Coach Heupel on the Mike Bianchi radio program threw a little cold water on the coy comments of Dylan Gabriel, saying, you know, perhaps game day action, maybe he wasn't quite there yet. You know, running the scout team, no one's sacking him, no one's knocking him down. And that's still a hurdle that he's going to have to come to face, not only physically, but mentally. Could we see him today? Yeah, we've already seen on Twitter today that he was out at the scene where he was injured, along with Tatum Bethune and Jeremiah John Baptiste in prayer, reflecting on that moment 2 years ago. He's out there warming up. But we'll see how the game unfolds. If it is, as expected, a big UCF win, maybe he gets in there. If only a play, if only a handoff to end the game. Big cause celebration for UCF, but no matter what, he's come a long way. His story very inspirational, and it transcends football.
Well, let's ask this, Trace. Do you think he should play? Do you think if the opportunity's out there, do you think Heupel will trot him out there?
As long as he's medically cleared, then I support his decision to mount a comeback, and I support Heupel and the coaching staff's decision to play him. We're a long way away from him trotting out as the starting quarterback for UCF in this Black Friday game. I know there's some fun polls out there. Do you see him in the first quarter, second quarter, third quarter? You know, I don't know that we even see him at all, but I would support Coach Heupel and the coaching staff and what Mackenzie believes he, along with doctors, feel he is cleared and able to do.
Well, this may clear it all up. This comes from Jason Beatty on Twitter, @TheRealBeatty, and he tweeted 49 seconds ago, source, Mackenzie Milton will not be playing against South Florida. So Jason Beatty reporting from a source that Mackenzie Milton will not be playing against South Florida. He's also reporting that Mackenzie is wearing a jersey, but he's not in pads. Luke Hetrick is also reporting the same. So early indications, if that is to be believed, from Jason Beatty, not that I don't believe Jason Beatty, by the way, but obviously you never know what you know. Mackenzie Milton not scheduled to play against USF today. Trace, does that change? I mean, that shouldn't change the game, right? I mean, it would have been a nice sentimental moment for UCF, but obviously you got to think that means that maybe KZ is just not quite ready to get out there.
Well, again, mentioning Coach Heupel, he gives you next to nothing in his media interviews, and when he sort of threw some cold water on that notion, I took away from it that it might not be likely. I still held out hope that we might see him late in the game. Again, even a handoff, even a kneel down. I think Night Nation would have cheered and applauded that. But the big purpose of today is evening that series 6-6 all time with the Cows, keeping that War on I-4 trophy firmly entrenched out at the football facilities and taking it to the 1-7 Cows. That's the big thing. Finished 6-3 in the regular season. As Coach Heupel said immediately following the Cincinnati game, it's a trophy game, it's a rivalry game. And while very overmatched and ravaged by COVID, this is a team still with pride. They know a lot of the players in the UCF uniform, so the Cows won't go down easily. UCF needs to go out, take care of business early and often. And you know what? Let's support Dylan Gabriel and continue to cheer Mackenzie Milton on. He will be successful in other pursuits, whatever he chooses to do down the line. And we weren't sure we'd see him in a UCF uniform throwing a meaningful pass in a meaningful game, and it looks like we won't today, but there's still bright things ahead for Mackenzie.
Yeah, just to clear that up, Brian Murphy and the Orlando Sentinel are also both reporting that a source is telling them Mackenzie Milton will not play today. So you're getting many of the UCF insiders out there, Jason Beatty, Brian Murphy, and the Orlando Sentinel telling us that KZ not scheduled to play today. Maybe just a big smokescreen by Heupel, who knows? But obviously we still have task at hand here, Trace, and it's the Cows. This is a game Heupel cannot lose, right? I know you said you said there are certain things that are not fireable offenses. Losing to said Cows today may very well just be fireable offense. What do you make of a game like this, right? And we have some guests that are coming on later, and we can ask these questions. But obviously, UCF season is not going the way they wanted it to. But the rivalry game is here. What do you expect in terms of a mindset from the UCF players today as they travel to their hometown on the West Coast here in Tampa?
Well, we've speculated at certain points during the season, after the high penalty games, after some dismissals from the team of some key players, some losses that threw them out of contention. Would they stay unified? The speculation on the message boards and on social media, had Heupel lost the locker room? The team has rallied and has shown unity, coming together in wins that they have achieved during the course of the season. So I think they know what's at stake. A lot of pride. It's a rivalry game. I said last week that a win over Cincinnati, and I'd forgive Heupel for one of Tulsa, or what was the other loss? I've forgotten now. They've all sort of piled up on us this year. I'd forgive him for one. I wouldn't forgive him for both. If he puts up more than 64 points, I know you and Mike spoke about it on this week's episode of the Sons of UCF. And they get the win, and they do it in convincing style, and they thrash and bash and embarrass the Cows. I don't want any of this sportsmanship stuff. He puts up 65 plus, and I'll forgive him one of the 3 losses. But I lived in Alabama and worked as a reporter, and Alabama-Auburn is a 365-day-a-year rivalry. And you can win all your games and lose that rivalry game, and that's the mark on your season. So no, I'll talk about something I haven't even given any consideration to as a loss today. That one. I was there when I think Danny White told Donnie Jones on the basketball court that you're done. If Danny White's got to go down to the field and greet Coach Heupel if they were to lose, no, let's not even talk about this. That's nonsense. Can't consider it.
Another quick report. Again, this comes from Brian Murphy at @spokes_Murphy. He does not see Marlon Williams on the field warming up. So Marlon, we saw dinged up a few times last week. He came out of the game for a couple plays. I think there's been some rumors he's been dealing with some stuff with his foot or ankle this season. So looks like maybe no Marlon Williams today for UCF as well. So if you're just joining us, Mackenzie Milton, according to sources, not scheduled to play today. And it looks like so far Marlon Williams not spotted warming up. So Trace, for the young receivers, we saw them struggle a little bit last week. We saw Ryan O'Keefe with a couple of drops. We saw some struggles last week. No Marlon Williams. Trey Nixon, though, should be back. So what do you need to see out of the young receivers today for UCF?
Fewer drops, huh? I mean, connected to Dylan Gabriel. We certainly can look at half a dozen drops, and that's easy to point on them. I think if we're being fair, Dylan wasn't firing on all cylinders throughout that game either. When you lose a close game like that, the Memphis losses, you can't just look in that game to the missed kick at the end of the game. When you put up 49 and you lose 50-49, there are other reasons. And as you said, the score might have been 3 points, but Cincinnati could have punched it in at the end as well. And maybe it was more a 9-10 point margin. So plenty of blame to go around, but these young receivers do need to step up today. Marlon Williams, in much the same way Dylan Gabriel found Gabriel Davis as a safety last year, he looks to Marlon Williams. So others are going to have to step up. I don't think it comes as any surprise. It had been rumored in social media and message board circles that he was dinged up and might not play. So for UCF and their game plan, this comes as no surprise to them. So they've been preparing all week for not having Marlon Williams, and curious to see who else might not play. And with no certainty, certainly, of a bowl game, another one, the Pinstripe Bowl in New York, canceled today. So I think that's 8 bowl games that have been canceled, and we're still some weeks away from bowl season. What they look like, you don't know. This might be the last game for UCF, and we'll see if there are some other players who opt out for various reasons.
Yes, we will certainly stay on top of that. But let's bring our first guest in now. We are pleased to be joined by ESPN commentator Mr. Rini Angolia, Orlando's own Rini Angolia, is joining us here on the Sons of UCF pregame show. Rini, thanks a lot for taking some time to join us today. Looks like we're having some problem hearing you, Rini. I don't know if you're on mute there.
Let me see. You got me now or no?
Yeah, we got you now. There we are. There we go.
Let's try it again.
Yeah, let's go here. So let me start with this question here. Obviously,
you guys. So
now you can't hear us. Okay. All right, we'll get the technical stuff worked out. How about now? Got anything, Rini?
No, it's breaking up for some reason.
Breaking up. All right.
So close, yet so far, Adam. Do you want audio with no video or no audio? which of the scenarios?
You're just breaking up.
All right, you got us yet?
Nah, not good.
Let's try this. I'll take you off the screen for a second. Maybe you want to restart or rejoin. Maybe that'll help us out. So I'll take Rini off screen. Maybe let him reconnect and rejoin with us. We'll get him in here. Trace, I'm excited to talk
the
to
beauty of
Rini.
Live. That's a live moment there, Adam. That's no do-overs there.
Yeah, on the podcast, this doesn't happen. We just talk whenever we want. But excited to talk to Rini and get a little bit more perspective on how UCF is perceived nationally. Because I do think he has a chance. He has an opportunity to cover a lot of games for ESPN. So curious to get his thoughts, and he'll come back and join us in a second here. Marlon Williams also just tweeting now. Good luck. Go get that W today. So seems to indicate if he was in the locker room, he probably wouldn't be tweeting that. So I think we are all set there with Marlon potentially being out today. And Trace, the UCF defense, they held their own a little bit against Cincinnati, and obviously down the stretch, Cincinnati controlled the ball and kind of ran us off the field there. A UCF defense has played a lot better over the last couple of weeks, and a Cal offense that we don't expect much from today. What do you think the defense needs to do today against the vaunted Cal offense attack?
Well, the Cows are going to be without, if you call a standout for them, running back Johnny Ford, who is no longer with the program. UCF's defense, number one in the country with 20 takeaways, forced 20 turnovers. So I'd like to see them continue to attack, create turnovers. The defense gets dinged in some ways for last week, but remember, they were only on the field some 7 minutes. The offense was only on the field some 7 minutes in the second half. And that'll wear any defense down. So I expect them to attack and be fired up. This is not a strong cast of characters. Rebuilding, certainly. How difficult it must be for a first-year head coach having preseason camp wiped out because of COVID, and then all of the uncertainties week to week. They've already had 2 games postponed. Their lone win over Citadel, even that not in very convincing fashion, 27-6. So I expect the defense just to keep doing what it's doing, build upon the confidence, strip the ball, get in the face of the quarterback, and stay in your assignments. Just do what you've been doing successfully the last 2 weeks. Continue to grow. The time they put in now going to pay dividends in 2021.
Yeah. What about special teams, Trace? Obviously, a source of much consternation this week. Any chance you think we see another kicker outside of Obarski?
Coach Heupel is so tight-lipped about that, and they want to show confidence in Daniel Obarski. It is a competition during practice every week, and if they thought that their backup kicker had earned a consideration, imagine we would have seen him by now, right? So, as I said last week against Cincinnati, kind of do no harm, just do no harm. It is, not to put a coach on a hot seat. It's certainly Coach Heupel's staff, and he makes those decisions. But this is a unit that has struggled at various points over the last couple of seasons. So you wonder if that is an area of possible change. Who knows? The kicking position has, if the backup kicker had earned it in practice, you'll see him out there. So far, we haven't seen him out there, and that's for a reason too.
All right, let's get to our question of the show while we wait for Rini and Golia to reconnect here. Trace, I'll let you answer this one first. And everyone, please get in the comment section. Let us know your thoughts. What are some things you hate most about the Cows, Trace? I know there's a long list here. I know Mike went over some things this past week. Some things essentially you might be a Cow if. Are there any things that you specifically dislike about the Cows?
Jen shafting UCF when it comes to inclusion in the Big East. I don't think that there's a football player that I've ever disliked as much as Matt Grothe, the loudmouth quarterback. Certainly UCF Twitter Mafia, which we are proud members of that. We oftentimes get ahead of our skis somewhat and run in our mouths on social media. But we have some things to back it up. That trophy resides in Orlando, and they can foul about the national championship and so forth. And we have the on-campus stadium, and we have the practice facility, and we have a lot of things, and they don't have those things, and they still talk a big game. I thought it was interesting that some of their more prominent social media sites this year said victory today would be not losing worse than 64-12, because they hold as something. They hold on to that. They hold on to the season, the series advantage. So those are two things. You win today and you even that. And you put up a big score and you take that away from them. We'll let them have that they were number 2 for 1 week in a poll and they won a mascot championship. They can hold on to those things. Now, there's, from trying to the medical city, the UCF medical campus, all sorts of petty little things that they don't realize. I hope they do. More and more of them realize now that if they've been more unified with UCF, that rising tide may have helped both boats. But we're looking back now at them and the exhaust. And I have no qualms about thrashing them, beating them, every single sport, every single game. No score is big enough today.
Nelson hops in there and says, the team colors. I don't know if you saw that alternate uniform they're wearing today, Trace. Imagine a highlighter throw up all over you, and that may be with a twinge of green. That may be their uniform choice of the day. You know, the thing that always irritates me, I know there's a lot of options out there, by the way, and some people may not remember this. They brought a shovel out to the field, and they tore up a bit of the field after a win at the bounce house. That one's always kind of gotten under my skin. There is the shovel game there. So that's one for me that I hope folks remember. And I hope Heupel brings that up in the locker room. I know there was some conversation this week. Jake Hescock was at his media availability this week, and he mentioned that the Holler brothers, two players, Alec and Max, on the team today, are UCF historians, and we're sharing with the group because some of these kids don't remember the rivalry, right? I mean, we didn't play for such a long time, and that the Holler brothers were sort of giving folks some of the inside information about the rivalry. Hopefully, those guys take that to heart today.
I love the posts on social media of the Holler brothers from previous UCF games as kids, and to see them talk about on those memories. Yeah, it does, even with a decided advantage these last couple of years, it's good for UCF to have a rival. You could argue that some games with some other teams in the American have been far more competitive than the games with the team from Tampa. So now, and I haven't forgotten about the shovel game either, or pushing and shoving players that happened. Was that 2 years back too? Or last year?
It was last year. Yeah.
And certainly, I think for UCF fans, the Mackenzie Milton injury hurts even more knowing that it happened against them. So no ill will towards the player. It's a football play, and it's hard to watch and relive and remember, but it still happened against them.
Are you one? I know you mentioned it earlier. Are you one that you want Heupel to jack that score up today?
Yep. Yeah, I know it's not in his mindset to do that. But yes, and I don't know how much he factors in what people like you and I and the fan base think about those things. Running up the score bothers some people from sportsmanship like capacity, but it just fuels rivalries, right? And no, I'd love to see him do it. Do I think he's going to do it? No, I think they'll cover the point spread. I think they can score a lot of points, but I just don't think it's his mindset to do that and embarrass the team.
So let's count our chickens before they're hatched, which is something we don't like to do very much around here. Let's assume a W on the scoreboard for UCF today brings us to a 6-3 record. To your point, we don't yet know what the bowl season holds for us. Left and right bowls are getting canceled, and obviously it's a lot to ask these kids to stay around through the holiday time and contain a bubble. Some of these kids obviously have families they want to get back and see, and they have post college plans they're getting to. So a 6-3 UCF team in a season of paying in a pandemic when games were canceled all over the place, getting all those games in, and coming out 6-3. How do you assess the season as you look back on it?
Well, I think the fact that they've been able to get in the 9 games that they scheduled, even if that was 5 on the road, 4 at home, however, just 2-2 at home, and you go back a season in which 3 losses were painful by a total of 7 points, and now looking at a back-to-back 3-loss season. Certainly having 10 players opt out because of concerns related to COVID, and then dismissals of players and some injuries along the way. The fact that they will finish 9 games, possibly at 6-3. But I think for this program, 6-3 and being mentioned for things like the Boca Bowl and the Cure Bowl is not where this program should be. Hopefully, the adversity that has been faced, the uncertainty because of COVID and some of the other things, make the team stronger. I just wonder if those doubts creep in the back of the minds of players, even coaches, if they tighten up in close games late. Not so much today. I don't want to count it as a win, but you expect to win handily against an overmatched team. But you wonder next time UCF gets punched in the face by the likes of a Cincinnati, a Tulsa. Next year's schedule challenging, right? Boise State on the schedule, and that's no easy game. You wonder if they can get past those doubts that creep up when you lose close games. So I think when we graded the team a few weeks back, I think I went in there with a B minus. Maybe I think I said B minus. I'd say I put it there. C seems unfair. C seems average, and with the prolific nature of the offense at times, with their ability to put up fast touchdowns, I can't see him giving them a C, but I can't reward them too highly for being 6-3 either.
All right, so quick guest update. Rini Angolia is still working out some technical issues, but hopefully our guest that has joined us now will be able to hear us a lot better, and we can hear him a lot better. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a voice that you will know instantly, and a face everyone has grown to love. Well, the one, the only, Mr. Eric Kohler is with us here. Eric, thanks a lot for hopping on, buddy. How are you?
What's up, guys? What's going on, man? Adam, good to see you. Trace, what's up, dude?
Hey, EK.
Hey, man, I tell you what, crazy time, but it's a good day here on Friday. Let's go beat West Tampa.
Absolutely. So, EK, let me start with this one, right? So, Trace and I were just talking before you hopped in. UCF, again, today's game, we expect to be an easy win, but you never count your chickens before they're hatched. But let's assume UCF finishes this year 6-3. We played in a pandemic, a lot of different concerns, challenges, opt-outs, all this other stuff. How do you assess a 6-3 season for UCF this year?
You know, man, it's tough, man. These are uncharted territories, man, across the board. You know, the Memphis game hurt. You know, the first game at the home game losing after winning 21 straight. You know, it's tough to grade out, man. I mean, I don't know if you're talking about a grade out between A and F. Is that what you're looking for?
Sure.
I mean, it's just so tough because we've had so much success over the past few years. I mean, the brand of UCF has arrived, and it's like, you know, you can't expect to win every year, even though we had a loaded team. But, you know, man, I'd say a C+.
Ooh, C+.
C+. Okay.
I mean, I just think that there were some opportunities during the games of the losses that we had that we should have not lost those games. And I'm seeing a pattern here, but at the same token, you're coming off the magical year when we went undefeated, and you can see the banner behind me. I mean, it's hard to replicate that year in and year out, guys. So, I mean, I think the fan base needs to be a little bit more forgiving, but, you know, the bar has been set so high that people get disappointed and everybody's, you know, jumping on the ship. Hey, get rid of Hypo and stuff like that. I don't know if that's warranted. I want to know what your opinion is on that I've heard of, you know, hey, we got to get rid of Hypo. I mean, I think that's way overboard.
Yeah, I think, you know, my standpoint, Eric, is I think it's premature to get rid of Hypo. I think, you know, 3 years in, you know, there certainly should be some more time given. I think, to your point, you see some cracks that you'd like to see Hypo go back in the offseason, sit down in a room, close the door, and say, okay, how do we get better? You know, that comes with scheme changes, that comes with maybe a staff shakeup, you know, whatever that might be. I think it's a little premature to kick him out the door, but I do think we can't be naive to say there are some things that, you know, we have to look in the mirror and say, what can we get better at? So I trust that Hype and Danny White and those guys will get in that room and have that tough conversation. And I guess we'll see where it shakes out from there. So I guess that would be, you know, my perspective on that.
I mean, I agree with you full-heartedly. I mean, think about it. You know, think about how far we have come. I mean, I've been fortunate to witness a lot of stuff from the first milestones and the foundation of where we were. And it's like, you know, there are some things that be calibrated and changed and stuff like that. But look at the talent. Look at the style of football we're starting to play. It's exciting and it's catching the national attention. We just have to be able to close better and get these close wins. We can't lose these close games anymore.
News breaking that it looks like Mackenzie Milton will not see action in any capacity today in Tampa. However, his story has been one that has just captured the attention of sports fans. What are your thoughts reflecting now on 2 years ago and how painful it was to watch him get hurt and to see his journey as he is to ESPN and others of his recovery? How do you feel about what you've seen from Mackenzie Milton and his recovery?
I mean, KZ, the story has just grabbed national attention. I mean, just to see him, I remember hugging him on field after the game against Auburn in Atlanta, and then to see that happen in Tampa, and then for him to come back to even be, it's sad to hear he's not going to play today, Trace, but for the fact of him to come back and the strength of his family is it's unreal. I mean, that really is such a special story for UCF. It gives me goosebumps to think about because the kid's a winner. He's got that energy. I'm an energy guy, and I just wherever he's going to go, it's going to be a winner. And I was hoping he would take a snap. So you know that for sure?
Well, it's being reported by several of the media in the press box that sources are telling them that he will not play. But maybe that's a hypo. There's some other names being mentioned that won't be playing today, including Marlon Williams, and now being reported Otis Anderson not expected to suit up and play today. So don't know if those are the result of some injuries, but some big UCF names look to be not going today. However, UCF a decided favorite in this one. Still the biggest rival for UCF, or is this starting to get too one-sided?
I mean, that's it's karma, I think, about South Florida, how they treated us with that whole Big East stuff and trying to put their arm aside that they were bringing us down. I just think it really is karma. But you know what? To see USF Hate Week on Twitter and social media platforms, this is definitely the one that everybody gets jacked up on. But obviously Memphis, they give us a run. Cincinnati's starting to creep in because they're kind of the top class of the AAC. But you love this week because you just want to beat down the cows.
Well, Eric, if we do that, we're going to need a big game out of Dylan Gabriel. What do you make of the season Dylan Gabriel's had? Obviously, you saw him as a true freshman. He played well, but he made some freshman mistakes here and there, right? I think you saw a lot of growth in him in his second season. What did you see watching Dylan Gabriel play this season?
I think it's great that he finally started to learn the observation of taking the ball down the field with his legs. Last year, it seemed like when he got in that situation, he would just kind of freeze and throw maybe some bad passes. I think the maturity, I think his strength, I think his arm throws down the field are just unbelievable arm strength. The kid is he's got the acumen like KZ does. And I think that his growth this year has been threefold. I mean, seriously, I think he needs to be, unless we didn't have those losses, I think he would be in the Heisman watch. Seriously, I think is one of the best quarterbacks in the land. You might say, hey, well, I got the UCF branding and stuff like that. But no, I think the kid's phenomenal. I mean, to have Marlon Williams and Otis Anderson at your disposal, that's what stings a little bit about this season, because you have those special talents, and to lose those close ball games takes away the luster that could have been a really super successful season. Just my opinion.
But you mentioned Marlon Williams. Eric, you've seen a lot of great receivers come through UCF. This kid is just a beast. He gets the football, and he's like, where's contact? Because I got to go find it. How do you stack him up against some of the best receivers you've seen play at UCF?
Man, I tell you what, I've seen a lot of good receivers, man. Jimmy Frizzell, Doug Gabriel, you named a lot. Brandon Marshall, Brashad Perryman. There's so many guys that, one point, Mike Sims Walker. He's kind of a big dude like Brashad Perryman, but Marlon Williams has a unique characteristic that not only is he a big wide receiver that can catch balls in space, he's got the wheels, man. He's got the full package. I think he's going to be considered one of the top receivers when we start looking back, because he is a special player. And for him to not play today, according to Trace and his sources, that's sad to hear.
When you talk about this UCF team, we talked about Coach Heupel, and let's just take off the table this talk that a guy that's won 79% of his games is on any sort of hot seat. I think it is, though, fair to be critical of some of the decisions he's made. Do you feel that you've seen growth in him as a head coach from last year with 3 losses by a total of 7 points to this year with 3 losses by a total of 12 points? Are you seeing that sort of growth that makes you feel like UCF can get on the other side of close games in 2021?
That's a hard one too, because there were situations of last year against Tulsa, on the road against Pittsburgh. I thought those were games that we could win, and especially the Pitt game because of the national stage. But I don't see as much growth in those game time decisions from last year. I think you've maybe seen a little bit, because I don't understand the fact of going for it so much on 4th down. I always learned for Coach O'Leary, an old school coach, you got to play field position. And I think sometimes he's a little bit too much of a riverboat gambler, and that's put us in some bad spots. It really has. That's for my take. So I would like to see a little bit more growth in terms of, those game time decisions of what you're doing and fourth down in situations like that. I think he's got to get a little bit better with that.
I love when you mention the old names, Jimmy Frizzell, who, if he's watching, probably doesn't want to be called old, certainly. But when you look back at the players and those years and years of struggle, you realize how fortunate UCF fans are to have had such a successful 4-year run, right? We're complaining about 3 lost seasons here. The fan base, perhaps the younger fan base, doesn't hasn't built up the calluses of some of these tough losses that they're ready to get so upset that they want to throw a coach overboard, right? They don't have that same perspective that fans like you and I do.
Yeah, I mean, that's you hit it on the head right there. I mean, Adam, the fact is a lot of people don't remember, just not too long ago, we opened up the Bounce House in 2007. And, kids now, think about some of the kids that went through that 4-year season as students. And now the newer kids they're expecting that success. And I love the way you said getting calluses as a fan base. Sometimes you got to be humbled and be brought back to earth, because it is sad on some of these social platforms that everybody is so quick to throw stones when, as you said, Trace, this 4-year record of this senior class is second to none. I mean, some of the losses suck. We all get upset. We take it to heart because once a night, always a night. But I think we just need to slow down and turn down the heat just a little bit and slow our roll and really appreciate the ride we've been on.
Eric, do you find yourself walking around the house on game days yelling first down and move the chains and all that stuff on your TV set? Give us the insight on watching games at home this year.
Well, it is really kind of strange, guys, and that's a great question, Adam, because I feel lost. I feel like I'm supposed to be somewhere, and especially on home games, I'm like, man, I'm usually like pushing papers on game day info and pronunciations and stuff, and this year I'm just walking around like I'm foraging for nuts and berries, and it's been kind of an odd situation, but it is kind of a relief to kind of be a fan, to kind of set back, because after 20 years being around the program, it's like, you have that conditioning that you're always at the games and you're kind of a focal point of the game day experience. So now it's like I got my sports room behind me, the Black and Gold Hall of Fame room, and I get with my family, I watch the game, and I do the first downs, and sometimes I throw some expletives out there. I very creative on some things, and but I really want to say, nights when, that's the one thing at the end of the game, I'm like, I can't do that. I can't get the satisfaction from the fans. So it's been a weird season, but you know what? I'm proud of my run, and I'm proud of what I provided to UCF.
Eric, I think I asked you this when you joined us on the podcast. Is there an all-time favorite name that you love to say when you were in the booth? Is there one player whose name you were able to enunciate the best, or had maybe the best pronunciation of?
I really liked – Leger Duzable wants me to say he's number one. Okay, Leger, I love you, buddy. You're number one. But, man, you can't – I'll be hard-pressed with Bruce Miller, man. Bruce Miller! And he just was so good with it, too, because he would give me signs up in the press box when I would do that. So we had a little bit of a working thing on Bruce. If he made a big play, but if he didn't, he wouldn't get it. But if he made big plays, I would give him the call. So that's Bruce would be my 1A, Leger 1B. So I don't get a text from Leger and be like, dude, what's up, bro? But you can't beat Leger Duzable.
You've brought to mind here that I think you're missing a business opportunity. I think there are quite a few UCF fans that might pay for a voicemail message from you in which you roll their name.
Yep.
You may be a calling for that. And if you want to test that out with mine, I'd love to have that moment for free. If you got a call for mine,
Trace, Trace, Adam, I'll do whatever I can to support you guys. So absolutely, man. If you want a shameless plug, I'll do it for you all day long, dude.
That's good stuff.
I'm seeing you guys. I got to share a funny story that I brought to Adam's point. I don't know how much time we got, but this is a true story. 2 years ago, our huge monumental, when game day was here against Cincinnati, well, at halftime, I didn't really eat too much before the game because I was so jacked up that I really wanted I knew the energy. I needed to just conserve everything to blow out during game day. And I was so hungry, and someone brought me a plate of food, like a caterer. It was like kind of a strip steak. I took a bite because I was so hungry, and I knew I had such a short window to eat. I chipped my tooth. And just 3 days ago, it just chipped. So this is an omen that we're going to win big against the Cows. And I'll never forget that. My spotters and everybody, they're like, what the hell did you do, man? And that's a funny story because the next day I had to go do emergency stuff at the dentist because then I had to fly out to the Bahamas to do the Battle for Atlantis. So I'll never forget the UCF Cincinnati game because of that just weird anomaly. Stupid stuff behind the scenes. I love it.
Well, Eric, we know. I know I miss hearing your first down chants in the background there of the games, and hopefully we'll get a chance to catch up with you soon. But we appreciate you taking some time and hop on the show and go Knights. Let's stomp the Cows today.
That'll be good enough for another UCF first down. Go Knights! Charge on! Love you guys. Seriously, stay safe out there. I really appreciate your support.
Thanks, Eric. Take care, buddy.
See you, Trey.
See you, Eric.
Always good to see Eric Kohler, energy guy. And speaking of energy guys, unscripted, unprompted, we can't go on without him, Trace. From parts unknown,
you can't get rid of me.
The masked man himself, UCF Mike. Mike, what's up, buddy? How are you, man?
I'm doing good, man. How's everything going over there? You guys holding it down for me? I know the ratings have dropped this week without me on the show.
Well, the beer consumption sure has.
Don't worry, I got you guys.
All right, Mike, I don't know how much you've been following us, but big news, Mackenzie Milton not scheduled to play today. How disappointing is that to hear?
Dude, I saw that. I saw people posting that on Twitter, and I saw you guys saying that. Is that true? Is Heupel doing the rope-a-dope, and he's switching him at halftime? He's going to come out in pads, or what? Nobody thinks he's playing, huh?
Does any part of you think Josh Heupel has that card up his sleeve? I don't know, but right now he's not in pads. He's not expected to play. Neither is Marlon, Otis, or Stephon Zayas. So kind of a skeleton crew going to the Cow game here this week.
Oh wow! So a lot of guys sitting out this week. Hey, we don't need these guys to beat the Cows. At least we shouldn't. But it's a little disappointing. So what? The guys think the season's over and they just take the last week off? Huh? No chance of injury or anything like that.
Yeah, I think with Marlon, I know we'd heard the rumors he had some injuries. He was banged up. We saw Otis go out of a few games this year, so I imagine they're dealing with a couple of nicks and bruises. And it's a nice game to take off there. Can you share with us your undisclosed location there, where you're at and what you're doing today?
I'm at Universal Studios right now. We're celebrating my daughter's birthday, whose birthday tomorrow.
Happy birthday!
And we're taking a break right now. We're sitting down, about to have a slice of pizza, and then we're gonna head over to Islands of Adventure. We've been out here since about 8 o'clock this morning at all the parks. I'm actually pretty surprised at how safe I felt, like with the mask, and then my hands have never been this clean. Every ride we go on, they give you sanitizer. It's actually been pretty safe. Everybody's keeping their distance from each other. I mean, I haven't really, and the crowds are not bad at all. So we've actually had a great time out here today. So.
You may not be able to see it, Mike, but I get the feeling that Adam's ready to pop up one of those graphics about you keeping your hands clean today. See?
Boom!
Yeah. Yeah. I know that. Yeah. Quote, my hands have never been this clean at UCF. Like, I know you talked about it on this episode of the Sons of UCF. If Heupel surpasses that 64-12 and takes that out of the mouths of West Central Florida fans, can you forgive him for one loss this year if he puts up a big number on the Tampa team?
Yeah, I'll forgive him for one. I mean, 3 losses is kind of unforgivable coming into this year.
The kicker?
But nobody's talking to you.
Hi, Wendy.
Look, 64-12 has been weighing on us for 13 years now, guys. So if we can get rid of that thing and also tie up the series all the time against these guys, that'd be a pretty good day, a pretty good Friday. And there's a bee flying around my head apparently right now. And, yeah, we can forgive him for one of those. We'll forgive him for the Memphis game. How's that?
Yeah, Mike, you're good for this format because every week you have some sort of viral moment.
Hey, maybe with a nest in your hair. Your hair looks fantastic.
She wants to get. See, my daughter's want to be YouTube star.
Your hair looks fantastic, by the way.
Thank you. I just got a haircut. I actually went a little shorter this time.
Oh my God.
Yeah, obviously. So what's your plan today? Obviously, you're not watching the game. How are you going to keep up with the score? Are you taping this thing to watch it later? What are you doing?
I was debating. I don't know if I would just stay off my phone, which I've been staying off my phone all day, and then just watch it on delay, or just watch it live. Now that you're telling me Mackenzie's not playing, I may not just put it on until after we get home and just watch the whole thing at the end. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I might just have the earphones in and listen to Mark Daniels while we're going to the next part. I'll figure it out as we go. I don't anticipate it being a close game, so I'm not too worried about it. But I don't know. What do you think I should do? Just hold out all day, or just kind of listen as we go?
I say hold
What would
out.
you do?
I say hold out. Enjoy the whole thing at the end. I say hold out on it.
It would drive me
Alright.
crazy not to know. So
Well, I mean, I don't anticipate us losing or being in a close game. So I think I might hold out. I kind of like watching it all together at once. I think I might go that way.
All right, Mike. Well, we have more important guests who have now joined us, buddy. So we're going to kick you out and let you spend some time with the family there. But make sure to catch up with Mike and I this week. Sons of UCF will break down the Cal game. Mike, you have fun out there, buddy, and stay safe.
Thanks a lot, guys. All right, I'll talk to you this week, all right?
all right, go
Take
Knights.
it easy. Charge on.
All right, we go from one legend, UCF Mike, to another legend, Mr. Jordan Johnson, a Knight alum, four-year starter for UCF, who is joining us today on the show. Jordan, first off, man, thanks for taking some time to join us. How are you?
I'm great. How about you?
I'm doing well, man. We're playing the Cows today. I know you played them a bunch. So from a player standpoint, can you tell us how much do you guys really dislike the Cows?
We really hate them, and it's not just for like for the hoopla. Like, we really actually don't like them. And like before last year's game, there was literally a brawl out on the field before the game. I don't know if y'all know that.
Yeah. How much? I mean, I know obviously it's a small area. Are guys on the team familiar with each other? Are there a lot of relationships and guys from high school and guys who know each other? And does stuff get personal out there on the field when you guys play each other?
Definitely. A lot of guys, like you said, a lot of guys know each other. A lot of guys have rivalries that started before UCF and USF and stuff like that. So it's a lot of fun to go out there and relive those memories that y'all had even before going to college.
Big game today in Tampa. It takes us back 2 years now to Mackenzie's injury, and various media reports indicate he may not see any action today. What are your memories from that Black Friday game 2 years ago, and how do you feel about the progress Mackenzie has made since?
Memories from the game is everyone clearing the benches, everyone going out on the field to show respect for Mackenzie and what he brought to the game of football. Even the opposing team, everybody came to a knee. The whole game stopped. Like, everyone in the stadium was attentive to Mackenzie Milton when he went down. And I loved everything that he's doing with recovery and how he's come back and seems to be at 100% again. And I certainly hope for the best for him, because he's my brother on and off the field. So I really care about him genuinely.
You, of course, to Phil, and Matt Lee stepped in, got off to a little bit of a rocky start with some penalties, but what do you make of him, and what should UCF fans know about a guy like Matt Lee?
First of all, Matt Lee is a baller, and he's young. Simple as that. I had my fair share of penalties. I had my fair share of bad snaps. I had my fair share of mistakes that he's going to experience throughout his career. And like, a lot of times people forget that I had a rough and rocky start to begin with as well. So he's technically still a freshman. He's a redshirt freshman. So I had a lot of struggles my freshman year as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing him being one of the best offensive linemen to ever come through UCF.
Yeah, it just goes to show you, right? Credit to you. You, by your play on the by your work off the field, made us forget about any mistakes you've made along the way during your career.
I appreciate that, man. I've definitely tried to mask all of my mistakes, for sure.
Well, Jordan, I know it's a tough question. 2020 is just a unique year, and obviously teams couldn't practice for a while. It was tough getting stuff installed. UCF had a new offensive coordinator, Alex Golesh, come over, and he had to get integrated. And so, by and large, team right now sitting at really a 6-3 record. How would you assess how the team played overall this year with all those factors that had to go into it?
They definitely have room to improve. There are things that they could have done better, but each game that they lost was a close game. And a lot of people make it seem like that we just got blown out, or we played so terribly. Like, mistakes happen, and the record doesn't show how good they're doing this season. And 1 or 2 plays could be the difference, is being like you said, 6-3 or undefeated. So it comes, and you got to just go with the punches.
A lot was made of the offensive line play early on too, Jordan. They obviously had they had 4 straight false starts against ECU, which was something we had never seen before. But they've really gelled together of late and played really well together. What have you seen as you've watched UCF? What have you seen out of the offensive line, and what do you think is attributed to them sort of getting their legs under them as the season's gone on?
Well, the biggest thing with offensive line is that you get all of the blame when things are going bad, and you get none of the glory when things are going good. So it just comes with the territory. You know what you're signing up for as an offensive lineman. But I think that they've been gelling together well because it's about unselfishness when it comes to playing offensive line. Let's say that you're uncovered, like there's only 4 D linemen coming generally, and it's 5 of you guys. Like you need to be helping out somewhere. There's no reason for you to just be standing around looking downfield, watching the play. Like no need to do all that. Go hit somebody else. Go find work is what we call it.
Take us into the locker room a little bit. We speak of these 3 losses this year, but there were 3 close losses last year. And you know, Coach Heupel is pretty disciplined when it comes to the media, talking about going 1-0 every week, and he sticks to his base package of lines that he uses with the media. Did he say anything different to you as the team after a close loss like that, and how you approach the following week's practices and prep for a game?
It was a lot of the same. Basically the same things you hear in the media. He's very consistent, like you said, with the things that he says. And of course, no disrespect to Hype because I have a lot of respect for him. But every now and then we could probably like predict what our meeting was going to be about, or like at least some of the things he was going to say throughout that meeting.
Ever a yeller or a screamer? Ever drop any profanity in that trying to rile you guys up?
I mean, football is a very passionate sport. It was never anything like directed at anyone in particular, or he never like raised his voice to the point where you felt disrespected, but he definitely got us hyped up and got us ready to go.
Jordan, what about when it came to playing the Cows? Obviously, you guys probably didn't need much motivation, but if you think about, the old school, there was a 64-12 game where they beat us pretty good in 2007. There was a game they took a shovel to the field and they dug up our end zone. Did Heupel, even Coach Frost before that, did you guys ever talk about some of those old legacy things leading into the Cows game? Did he ever bring in some old alumni to share with you how some of those pain moments?
No, never anyone in particular that like came from the past, but I remember vividly after my freshman year, they beat us, and not only did they beat us, but they scored a touchdown within the last 30 seconds of the game.
Yep.
And going into my sophomore year, they showed us that clip of them scoring within the last 30 seconds of the game. And like basically this is what they think of you guys. This is the respect that they have for y'all. And that was enough to be said. I haven't lost to USF after that.
Well, maybe we need to get that clip out today, Jordan. Let's talk about you for a second. You look fantastic. I know I saw on Twitter that you've been on a sort of a journey to lose some weight and get in better shape, man. First off, you look fantastic. What's your secret?
Eating the vegetables, man. Everybody knows that I was the vegan football player for 2 or 3 years, so I eat a lot of vegetables, and I'm a strength and conditioning coach now. So I train people, I train athletes, and I'm out there running around with them. I've lost over 50 pounds. I'm 240 pounds now.
That's awesome.
Really? 50 pounds? Wow.
Yeah.
So what was Thanksgiving like for you? You have a good Thanksgiving then with the side dishes, or?
Yeah, I had a great Thanksgiving actually. So there was a vegan family that supported me basically the whole time I came out verbally as being vegan, and they've shown me so much support. They would come to the night walk every single time. They made T-shirts for me. They had signs. They would meet up with me after the game, take pictures and stuff. And they invited me over to their house for Thanksgiving. So I had a vegan Thanksgiving with them. It was a lot of fun.
And Jordan, I saw you posted recently that you were attending your first game as a fan in the stands. Is that right?
Yes, sir. It was a lot of fun.
How was that experience? Yeah, take it. We've all been there. How was your experience? First time up in the metal in the stands.
Even though we lost, and that was upsetting, I had a great time, to be honest. It was a lot of fun. It was a very different perspective, and it was very eye-opening to see the differences that I noticed. But it was a lot of fun, and it was a close game the whole way, so it was exciting.
And then off the field, you continue to partner with Anthony Roberson and others to collect toys for kids in the holidays. How's that effort going? How was the collection drive last week? And I gather you guys still need more stuff.
Definitely. We had a good turnout from our third annual toy drive for Christmas for the kids this past game, and we're doing another drop off for people can bring us as many toys as they like tomorrow at 8 o'clock at the Alumni Center. So that's the next drop off date for toys for anybody who's interested in participating, and we'll have more coming soon as well. We're looking good.
Well, it's awesome, Jordan, that you continue to stay involved in the community, and it just speaks to the character and obviously the player that you are. We're going to let you get out of here, though. Obviously, I know you want to watch the game. We're about 3 minutes to kickoff, so we're going to let you watch the game, but you got to give us a prediction. Give us a score prediction for today.
I'm not joking around when I tell you that we're going to beat them by 40 points. 40 is, I want it to be 42-0, but hopefully it'll be 42-0, but we'll see.
Awesome. Well, Joel, we appreciate you for coming on, man. Best of luck to you, and we'll make sure that we get the word out to get to more toys to the Alumni Center tomorrow at 8 o'clock. So we appreciate everything you're doing, man, and charge on.
All right, thank you. Charge on.
Go Knights.
Always good to catch up with Jordan Johnson, man. What a good kid. Yeah, he looks fantastic. I know he looks like a Greek god in there. You forget what football does to these guys' bodies, especially those old linemen, right? You see these guys; they got to keep a lot of bulk, a lot of weight on them. I mean, you can only imagine, how they must feel, and when you start to kind of shed some weight, how cool that is. But always good to catch up with Jordan. You made a great point. You brought it up. Obviously, I can't off the top of my head, I can't recollect a major error that Jordan Johnson made, but obviously he knows about those. So maybe bodes well for a young offensive line and a young guy like Matt Lee.
Well, I'll tell you what, if we look back on Matt Lee's career, and that is the dark moment of that career, then he will have had a stellar tenure at UCF. So I think we're in good hands with Matt Lee, and no one wants to see anyone make mistakes. And certainly they made some penalty mistakes, a lot of penalty mistakes that they've done a better job of late cleaning up. I also took away from that interview how the team felt disrespected when the Cows punched one in with 30 seconds to go. Remember, we want to be on the big end of a blowout. You don't want to be on the bad end of it.
I don't know. UCF Mike is back suddenly. Mike, what's going on, buddy?
Hey, I know you guys are doing predictions now. I didn't want to miss out on this part of the show. I had to go to the bathroom anyway, so I snuck away. Now I'm back. And,
we'll get.
so we're
you're
doing
here.
predictions or what?
We can now. Get in there, buddy. What do you got?
65-11. How's that?
65-11. All right. All right.
I like it.
Trace, what about you? Are you co-signed Mike? Is that 65-11? Jordan Johnson was 42-0. Where do you land?
I've seen too much Josh Heupel to think that he's going to not run up the score. So I'll go 48-18 UCF.
All right, I'm going to go
100% right.
Yeah, no, I want to co-sign Mike badly. I think Heupel's going to get a little bit there today, but here's the problem. In true Heupel fashion, we'll go 63-10. We'll come up just a little short.
Oh man.
Yeah, just unfortunately, that's just hype. He's not gonna punch it in. We'll go 63-10. And
that's
but
actually
look,
1 point better.
That's fair. I mean, I was never good at math. I was a criminal justice major. What do you want me to do, Mike?
All right, guys. You know what? I think I'm gonna watch the first quarter at least here. We're just
I knew it. I knew
so
you.
I'll watch the first quarter now. I think we should be up by like 3 scores by halftime, and then we'll move on to the second part.
All right. Well, you stay safe, buddy. Enjoy your family time there. Happy birthday to the little ones
The
there.
whole piece is gone already. There's 2 slices left. All right. I gotta go.
Right, I didn't realize we were bothering.
Count on Mike. He's eating or drinking at the end of every show.
I didn't know we were bothering, Mike. If you are watching your television, you are currently watching West Virginia play basketball against somebody. I can't tell who right now. Looks like about 30 or so seconds left, so the game has not yet appeared on your ESPN television screen. Trace, obviously outside of a win today, do you have any other goals that you want to get in today? Obviously, no injuries would be great. Anything else that you want to see get accomplished today?
Just see them bring together one complete game this season. Destroy the rival. Feel good about the season-ending game. No certainty of a bowl game. Get that 6th win. be the winningest 4-year team in UCF history, and just finish strong. Bring it all together. I don't want to have any doubts. I don't want any missed extra points, botched kickoffs, dropped interceptions, tossed balls. Just, everybody bring it together, put together 4 quarters, go 1-0, get the win, use every hypo cliche, and get victory. Get him victory number 28 against 7 losses, and give us some energy and enthusiasm going into 2021.
Looks like it's 66-62 West Virginia over Western Kentucky, 54 seconds to go. And the Bad Boy Mowers Crossover Classic Championship. I will not give you the play-by-play, although I really feel like this may be a barn burner. So we'll keep our eyes peeled on social media if and when the kick is moved. It's probably like a 3:36 kickoff time. So yeah, just a few minutes here as West Virginia attempts to inbound the ball. Trace, let's go big picture, man. Pregame show this year. Obviously, a new wrinkle for us, something we want to try out this year. I know I had a lot of fun doing it. I hope the fans did too. What are your thoughts on the pregame show? How should we keep this momentum going? And what do you think the future looks like for us in the video space?
I've enjoyed it. I appreciate my return to the airwaves, and I thank you and Mike for welcoming me into the Sons of UCF family for the pregame show. You know what? It has been live. It has been unique, special. We're still waiting for Jeff Godfrey to get back with us. It was good to see Rini Ngolia this week. We've also seen parts of people that we hadn't expected, and insights from the likes of Libby and UCF Mike and Nelson and others. It was great to mix in the fans, and I'd love to see us, to quote E.K. Eric Kohler, keep the energy going and keep this format to supplement and support the great work you and Mike do on the Sons of UCF podcast. I think we've hit something with a video format and connected with fans, and I think there's still more to talk about. We've got basketball, though, how many games they'll get in with COVID. You see the home opener, postponed against Oklahoma. They'll give it another try to get the season off on Monday against Auburn. But, COVID is going to be a factor. But this looks like a talented team that could make some noise in the AAC, and certainly something that I'd like to keep talking with you about.
Yeah, so let's do this. Everyone, stay tuned. We'll figure out how to grow this going forward. Obviously, basketball season around the corner. There's always stuff to talk about, and football never stops. So we'll keep that up. We don't know what the off season looks like yet. Will this be the last game? Will there be a postseason bowl game for UCF? Trust us, if there is, we will find a way to make sure we get back on these platforms and we share all that with you as well. Don't forget also, Trace, we had our first ever live video chat where we typed questions to Drico Johnson, who could not hear us but could talk to us. So the use of the graphics were helpful in getting Drico Johnson. But look, we've been really fortunate. We had a lot of people willing to hop in this year, a lot of former players, which was fantastic. We caught up with the likes of Jordan Johnson today. We had Tay Gowan, first time I think we've heard from Tay Gowan in a while since he opted out. We had Klubiali. We had one of the best ever do it, Joe Burnett. So we've had some good folks out there, and keep these channels in your mind. So we'll figure out how we keep this going forward. I do like Mario right here really quickly though, 72-3. If you can make that happen, Mario, I definitely co-sign that. As college basketball is wanting to do, this game is dragging on. So we're now only at 45 seconds on the clock, still 66-62, still trying to get an inbounds pass in here. So not sure if the game will be moving to anywhere else. Let me look at some channels here, and we'll figure that out for you guys. But kickoff probably coming in about 2 minutes. Nelson, big thanks for that as well too. So Trace, I'll give you the final send off today, man. Obviously this game means a lot. What do you, I guess, how do you put this one into words? What needs to happen today?
Take care of business. Beat your rival, even the series at 6-6. Get the W. Come back safe, sound for the team. No injuries. Bring all 3 phases of the game together, as they've been talking about all year. Put forth your strongest effort against your biggest rival and get the dub.
I hope that is what we do. I don't see the game moving anywhere yet. I'm checking channels. It looks like it is on ESPN News right now. So if you're watching us, you can switch to ESPN News. I see a lot of lime green running out of the tunnel. That can only mean the cows. So we will bid you all adieu. Sons of UCF pregame show Thanksgiving edition here as we get you ready for the cows. Trace, thanks a lot, buddy, as always. And everybody check in with us next week. We'll keep you informed, keep you recapped, and we appreciate everyone's support. Everybody go Knights.
Start on.